Hey guys, welcome to another Moto Talk Aftermath segment. We're going to be talking about the injury report after Glendale, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Let's get into it. As we can see, our buddy Nate Thrasher, who is tough as nails, but almost as unlucky with his get-offs as anybody else I've ever seen before. So Nate Thrasher says, Glendale was going good until it wasn't last night. As you probably saw in my heat, I had a pretty gnarly crash and was transported to a local hospital. Thankfully, I will be okay and leaving with just a bone bruise and concussion. Going to get some rest, then back to work. Thanks to my team and everyone who supports me. See you in Seattle. Little heart there. So yeah, absolutely great to hear that Nate Thrasher is okay and plans to get back on the bike and back to training. So on a side note, we got some red flags in Glendale as well. So seeing Nate Thrasher's crash gave us a good idea of like why the red flag would be thrown at that point. Alpine medical crew, it wasn't easy for them to just jump in and get him taken care of. Where he crashed was in the middle of some jumps, in the middle of a nice gnarly rhythm section and a huge triple. So, a red flag had to occur. And we got a little more information as to why, right? The red flag, the leader hadn't done more than 3 laps. It was hard for them to get to him, so they restarted the race. And we've seen that because the leader hadn't made more than 3 laps, they were actually going to do a full, restart. And we got lucky and we've seen another red flag event, which this one, the second red flag was a little more interesting in my opinion, the one that occurred in the LCQ, because based on where the rider was located at the time that they called the red flag, it didn't look like the rider was in the middle of the track. Or that it was like really bad. But again, the leader hadn't made more than 3 laps. So they did another full restart on that race too, which that race kind of led us into some really interesting action with Silveria. That guy was busting through that pack, taking people out left and right. I mean, it was gnarly. It was kind of funny. Nobody was really injured from his. I think the only other big injury we had was Ryder DiFrancesco, which let's get into that. So we don't actually get to see exactly how Ryder D crashed. It wasn't covered. I haven't really found any footage of it, but I know it was still yet after that finish line rhythm section, and quite a few riders seem to have gotten caught up by that little rhythm section, man. I mean, it was a really nice rhythm section in my opinion, but I had a feeling that that night in Glendale, we were going to see some crashes, and then there we go with some heat crashes, some LCQ crashes, and then we seen Ryder D end up getting caught up with it. But the good news is Ryder D's okay. So Ryder D says he was bummed on how his night ended in Glendale. He was making his way through the pack, came up short in a rhythm. Glad he's got a couple of weeks off to recover. Thank you, team. So, based on that post, he's good. He's good to go. I mean, it just sucked because, Ryder D has been looking good. He has been getting somewhat decent starts, and I've noticed that he'll work through the pack. I know at when Anaheim 1 kicked off, his speed was really, really good. So I think Ryder D is on the right track to make some great movement throughout the season. Hated to see him crash, but at least it's all good. And I guess the last thing we really wanted to talk about was the other rider who seemed to have been injured in the LCQs, a young man named Addison Emery. I'm struggling to find any real information about his crash. I know he was carted off on the Alpine Stars medical, like UTV or whatever. But like I said, I can't find anything about him. If you guys find anything about Addison Emery, please put that in the comments. Let me know how that young man's doing. I hope he's well. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for the Moto Talk Aftermath part, where we just go through and we talk about the injuries and give you updates of the riders. Yo, mad love for you vibing out. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, what are you doing? Smash that thing, and we'll see you on the flip side.